So here we are on this night of nights. It was meant to be that we would be here together, you and I. And so tonight, we're going to push back against all of the busyness, and you're going to forget for a moment about all of the things that you still have left to do. Because I'm sure that there's quite a few of us in here that still have some things left to do. But just push away from all that for a moment. Breathe in this night. Be present here in this moment. Because there are stories to tell on this night. The story of stories. The story of how light came into the world and how the darkness doesn't get to win, ever. More on that in a moment. So yesterday, I had an opportunity to go to the Austin Trail of Lights on the last evening that it went on. It was a beautiful night. We went with some friends of ours, and as I was kind of walking around, I was talking to our friend and mentioned that, I was thinking already, kind of thinking about what I was going to have to say tonight. Because on Christmas Eve, you're expected as the pastor to do a homily. That's what it's called. That's Latin for very short sermon. I can't back that up, honestly, but that's kind of what it is, right? So you're supposed to give the short sermon, right? Because there's all these other things that we have to do, and yet you still need to be able to tell the story. And there are folks that come and we gather together, and maybe for some folks that are here tonight, this is one of the few times of the year that you feel comfortable coming to church, and I'm so glad that you came on this night of nights. But my friend was telling me, she says, I can help you with your homily. And she said, all you need to do is think about the trail of lights, right? She's like, just look at all the lights shining in the darkness, and then you just tell people that shine their lights in the darkness. She goes, you're welcome. And I could tell that on the surface, it seemed like she was joking, but there was this look in her eye. There was a glimmer of something that I caught in passing. And I just held on to it. Because even though she was joking, sort of, there was this thing that just flickered in her eyes for a moment, and I recognized it. And what I realized in that moment is what she was trying to say to me was, we need this story that you're about to tell. We need this story. Because the world outside, even though we push back from it for a second tonight, it's marked by darkness. There are things out there in the night that are frightening, that we can't ignore forever. And she was trying to say, we need this. We need to know that the light still shines. We need to know that the darkness doesn't prevail. We need this story. This story is a story of divine love and amazing grace. The story of how God became one of us in order to rescue all of us. It is the most incredible story anyone could ever share, and that's why we gather. We gather to share our story, to light our candles rather than curse the darkness, and to be together and to hope. Because it doesn't matter whether you believe this or not, and maybe you're gathered here today, some of you, and you struggle to believe. But I do know one thing about you. Just like every other person who's gathered here tonight, you long for the world to be better. You long for more. We all do. And that's why we need this story of stories, to remind us that the light has come and the darkness cannot overcome it. It doesn't get to win, ever. Hallelujah. Amen.